Hey everyone, I'm Melanie from Streamline Legal, where we help law firms get the most out of their practice management software. At Streamline Legal, we spend a lot of time talking to people about their calendars, how they track time, how they block time, how they schedule things. A lot of talk about calendar and time is spent over at Streamline Legal. And so, one of the things that we will very often recommend is that people share calendars within their firm. So, for example, if we have a firm of 6 people, we'll all share calendars with each other. We'll share our own calendar with each other so that each of us knows what the other person is doing. And really, the goal here is to cut back on that communication. So I don't have to notify everybody when I do something or when I have an appointment for something. They can simply access my calendar and take a look. It's also very convenient, of course, if someone else is scheduling things for me or if I want to schedule things for somebody else. So, depending on the size of the firm and how it's set up, we will oftentimes recommend that everybody share a calendar with everyone else. We also will recommend that you give other people editing rights as well. And so in Clio, each person does have their own calendar by default. And different firms will use them differently, and different firms will use a firm calendar differently. In fact, we've got some videos covering the firm calendar. But when it comes to individual calendars, we want to make sure that if people are using those individual calendars, that everyone else in the firm has access to them. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit tonight about how you can share that access and how you can figure out what access you have. So let's head on over to the Clio screen here, and I can show you that in this firm, I've logged into my calendar, and you can see that I've got my calendar, and I've got a couple other calendars here that I've put together. But down here, I've got other people's calendars. So I've got my administrative assistant, I've got my associate here, and then we also have a client relationship specialist. And I unfortunately cannot see that person's calendar. And so in Clio, there is no way for me to request permission or set up permission myself to be able to view the client relationships specialist's calendar. I have to do that. They have to do that by themselves. So you can share your own calendar with other people, but other people can't go in and change the settings of your calendar. Even administrators don't have that power. So everyone has to set up sharing of their own calendar. So if I want to see my client relationship specialist calendar, then I need to go ahead and request that from her, and she needs to go ahead and set that up, or he needs to set that up. For this demo, I probably should have used somebody that was a little shorter titled so that we could get through this, but we're going to do it anyway. So here you'll see I cannot see her calendar, but if I'm logged in as her, the client relationship specialist, then I can see she's got her own calendar here, of course, and she can't see mine either. So I need to share mine with her. She needs to share hers with me. And so I'm going to go ahead and show you exactly how to do that. In here, when we're on the calendar, I've selected calendar from the menu on the left-hand side. I'm going to come up here to more, and I'm going to go to calendar sharing. Now, this is not the most intuitive screen, but if you want to share with the whole firm, then it's pretty easy to set up. So I'm going to go ahead and say I want to add a calendar share. I want to share my calendar with the whole firm. You'll see I could just share it with individuals, or I could share it with a group of individuals if we had groups set up in Clio. But for this example, I want to share it with the entire firm. So I go ahead and select firm on the top. And then for permission, I do want to give everybody editing permission. I want them to be able to put things on my calendar. And so I'm going to go ahead and put editing. Now, of course, you can just do viewer, which lets them just view the details of the appointment, or private, which just tells them if it's blocked or not blocked. Again, depending on the size of the firm and how you're using the calendar, typically I will recommend that we stick with the editor permissions here. So again, what this is going to do is it's going to give everybody in the firm, everyone that has a Clio license, the ability to see and edit my calendar. So I'm going to go ahead and say update calendar. And what you'll see, nothing has changed on her calendar because she's still just seeing the same thing, right? But if we go over to my calendar, and I'm going to refresh the screen here, of course, now you'll see that I can view the client relations specialist. I can review their calendar now, and I can also edit it as well. And so again, if I want her to be able to edit my calendar, now I need to do the exact same thing in my account. So I'm going to go up to more. I'm going to say calendar sharing. I'm going to come down here and add a calendar share. I want the whole firm to be able to see my calendar and be able to edit it. So I picked the whole firm. It's that way by default. And I'm going to go ahead and give them all editing permission, and I'm going to update my calendar. Now, when I do that, of course, my calendar doesn't change at all. But if we go back and log in as the client relations specialist, then I can go ahead and refresh her screen. And now she sees my calendar right here as Melanie Leonard. And so it's not a very complicated process, but it really does help us to reduce the number of communications back and forth, because now people have access to the information and they don't have to ask me directly and I don't have to notify them directly. Now, of course, there may be situations where I still want to do that, but now they have access to a lot more information. And so again, it's not a very complicated step, but it's also not very intuitive. So please feel free to share this video with anybody in your firm that might be looking to share calendars across Clio. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, and have a great evening.